Hello, and welcome to RIME Entertainment Showcase with your hosts, Rita and Mel.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of RIME Entertainment Showcase. Today we have a very special guest. It is Tim Anderson, also known as the Liminalist. We'd like to welcome Tim to the show. Thank you for being our guest. Welcome Tim.
Thank you very much. You got that down pretty good too. You just came right out. The Liminalist, you got it.
Yeah, that because it was Mel saying it, wasn't me?
We'll test you later.
Yeah, no.
So, I mean, thank you again for being our guest. So you've been, you're a musician, singer and songwriter. Can you tell us about your musical journey since the age of 12? Because I believe that's where it began. Tell us a bit more about it.
Right. It was with my brother-in-law, and he was this really cool dude that was this total 80s guy like you see in the movies, and he was listening to Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue, like all that good 80s stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I was at the age where I wasn't really into music yet. And hearing that stuff, it just hit me for whatever reason. It just sparked. And, I wanted to be a guitar player and, not a drum, no offense, drummers. I didn't want to be a drummer or a bassist or, I just wanted to play guitar. And I didn't really see the whole singing thing coming for a long time. So I didn't do any of that, but it was about a year or so later, 6 months to a year, whatever, I got a hold of a guitar and it just went from there. And I just fell in love with it, didn't want to do anything else but that.
Yeah. I mean, who were your personal influences in the music industry?
Back then it was definitely all those 80s, Rat and Motley Crue and Bon Jovi and all the good hair metal stuff, and then in the 90s, I was 12 in the 90s, but I was just catching on to this stuff. But when I caught on to the newer 90s kind of heavier stuff, it was Pantera and Alice in Chains and all these things that were coming more into full circulation of mainstream music.
Yeah.
Which, I wouldn't say Pantera was mainstream at the time because, not compared to pop music,
Oh yeah, I mean that's a different part altogether. But yeah. Excellent. Yep. So, moving on to your journey throughout that, again, your musical journey, and then you were also led to the Marine Corps. So share with us, your time within the Marine Corps and how you still kept that musical journey alive. How did you balance that both?
Well, the music, I really didn't get all the time I wanted to spend doing music. Because I went to Iraq in 2003 and then in 2004, and there was only 6 months in between that, between the times that we went. So between the two deployments, it was really spending time, with my wife and just dabbling a little bit on guitar. My dog's over here flipping out. But after the second deployment is when I really got back into music because I had some guys that I'd met and we were able to play but here's how much I do love music is when I was in Iraq, I ordered an acoustic guitar and it took about 3 months for it to get there.
Wow.
I didn't even know if it would make it. I'm like, is this possible? Because at that time, the war was still new.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I really order a package to a war zone?
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess you can. So, and then I couldn't bring it back with me. So I found another guy from another unit that played guitar. And I was just like, hey, here you go. He was like, awesome,
Yeah.
Wow.
But as far as balancing out, there was no way really of keeping a hold of the things I wanted to do with music at that time,
Yeah, sure.
Did a little bit, but
Yeah, but I liked the the thought that you you know, you still wanted to have a guitar, you know, the acoustic guitar, something in the music realm to kind of, that was your kind of personal journey that you never lost, even though there was no time, or, you know, it wasn't something mainstream for you at that time, which was cool.
Right. And it did help because, you know, when I finally got the guitar, and we had like 4 or 5 months left of the deployment. Another guy that I was friends with, he was a good singer, and it was like kind of a morale booster, because me and him were able to entertain some other guys, you know, and that's what some of them, the guys that were into music, that's what they needed, because they needed something to keep their mind away from why we're, you know, being there in the first place. So
yeah, definitely. I'm sure even with that, you probably, you know, you and like your friend that were kind of jamming together and entertaining those that were with you, you probably came up with a lot of lyrics, or there was probably a lot of inspiration about the things that were going around you, or?
Right, definitely for him, because I would harmonize with him on things, but at the time I still wasn't really into singing. But for him, yeah, he was definitely writing a lot of things of, and you know what's funny is I wish I could throw his name out there and promote, but that band he was with isn't together anymore. But right after he got out of the Marine Corps, he was up in Chicago and had a band that was really doing like extremely well.
Yeah.
And all his lyrics were about, you know, his time in Iraq.
Yeah, definitely.
But then the same for me is, after I got out, the band I had at the time, I kind of, for years, I took those lyrics too, and I started doing things.
Yeah.
So,
but go ahead.
Right. So I was just wondering, where did the singing then start to evolve? How did you decide, yeah, I actually want to start singing as well as playing guitar?
I don't.
Or did it just happen?
It kind of, well, it was like a little bit of both, because I was like, oh, I'm going to sit here and sing. Hopefully nobody can hear me. And, you know, how most people do it when they're not sure if they're even a good singer, you know, it's just like, oh, I'll go somewhere else and sing because someone's around. You know, you're worried about what they're going to think. So there was a little bit of that, of like, okay, I do want to learn and be a good singer. And another part of that was being in a band where we had another singer, and he left. And then later on, we got another singer, and he left. So in between, I'd have to sing to be able to do a show. And then when the second one, you know, it came to a point where, like, okay, I'm just going to do it, because then if somebody else comes along and leaves the band, then, you know. Yeah. So and it just kind of grew over time of like, oh wow, I guess I'm not too bad. So I just kept going, you know, and trying to do all the things to do it the right way, because it is an instrument as well, you know. Exactly. And keeping up on it's the hardest part. So usually most of my time practicing is on the way home from work in my car, where I can scream my lungs out, you know, not coming home and everyone's doing their thing around the house. I'm just like, yeah, you know, just belting out stuff, you know.
Amazing. It sounds almost like it was the universe's call for you to start singing.
Definitely.
The fact that, you know, all the singers left and you were filling in. It
put
was like,
you into that situation.
Get you out.
Yeah. It kind of worked out good. You know, I never saw myself even possibly at all being a singer, you know, years back, and then it just happened. And you know, maybe as a guitarist or whatever, you know, you still get that, you're worried about that criticism from other people. I think vocals are a little different, because it's so much harder, you know, and so I still criticize myself pretty bad, but it's also a good thing, but it's also a bad thing too, because, you know, a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to sing that, and someone could say, oh well, you know, but you sing it good, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah,
you have that now, don't you? Yeah. Okay, so I mean, kind of going through your journey, I know obviously we're both aware that obviously you had some experiences that were really traumatic during your life, but each time it felt like you were diving deeper into your music. Was music your lifeline through these difficult times, or and how did it help you?
Definitely, because I think when there's these, and I'm not the only one, so I'm not going to put it like that. But, when you get these repetitive things of like, why,
Yeah.
over the years, I think a lot of people, it can go really bad. It can go south pretty bad. And because most people, you want to turn to something and you don't know what it could be. And for some people, it's good. They take on this new path in life, a journey they did not see coming. For some people, it's some drugs or whatever, some kind of addiction, because it's trying to escape all these things that have been building up.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, it was music that I had, where I could dive right into it and just let myself be consumed by it, and it not be. I'm not gonna lie. I think even with music, and some people disagree with me, even with music, there's a point of diving into it where it might be a little ridiculous, because anything out of moderation is not, and even music, because I've sat at home, I've gone night and day on a weekend binge doing music, and I wouldn't say it's really good for your brain, because your brain's concentrating on all these frequencies and all these things you're doing, and your brain is working so hard, but I think over the last couple of years, I've kind of gotten back out of that. Now I take breaks, I do work out, and I go to work, and I do all these things I'm supposed to do. So, but it's definitely therapy. It's great therapy.
Yeah. I think almost it's like, they say if you're working out as well, that's a release as well of, all these emotions, be them negative or, things that from the past. So I guess music as well. I mean, playing the guitar. I mean, I used to play the guitar back in the day, and it was like, it is a good release, even if you're playing along to a band or whatever, and it's not your own stuff. So I guess,
right.
Do you find though that your music was changing through these times? Like, were you getting quite deeper and more heavier in your music, or how is it changing?
Not necessarily heavier, because I'll still do like a really heavy song, and then I could come, the next day would do something on like just piano. But I think it's all in the lyrics and how I feel at the time of writing those lyrics. And most of them are just all those different stages of grief, and so they could be, they could be really kind of mad, hateful kind of lyrics, and then it could be, one of the stages of grief is guilt, and there's, it's that. And so it's just rolling through all these different stages and all these things that affect my life, because of the grief. And I think it's a good thing to where, at first it was really just therapy for me, and it still is. But since the first song, I've had people reach out and say, hey, I just, lost somebody that was really close to me, or whatever, and they, or whoever, and they would say, I was listening to your music and you were saying the things that I felt, but I couldn't just form it into words. And that's when I really was like, okay, I need to keep going with this, because I'm not alone. And even though it feels like it, there's other people out there that feel they're completely alone, and it shouldn't have to be that way, especially with that subject, losing somebody.
Absolutely. And I think definitely music is one of those special, it's a special emotion, a special thing that really does touch people in so many different ways. And whether it's loss, whether it's whichever topic it is, everyone and anyone can relate to it on some level. And again, it just speaks to you, and you know, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And you got that calling to carry on, which kind of brings me to the next question. Did you ever get to the point where you thought, maybe music's not for me and I'm going to throw in the towel and just get on with other things in life? Or did that ever cross your mind?
I think on a monthly basis, because you know, especially with what you guys do, you see how other people are trying to promote themselves on social media, and it can be a letdown sometimes, because you know, you might be excited about something you're posting and then nothing really comes of it. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with the song, you know, it's just, but that's the vibe it gives, is like, oh, well, nobody likes this. I mean, what's the point of doing this if nobody likes it, you know? And then that's just like it's like a little childish temper tantrum for a minute, you know? It's just a little phase, because like, then the next day, you know, you're thinking like, oh, well, I mean, because I'm doing it for me anyways, you know? Yeah. But there's those little moments every once in a while where it's like, nah, I'm done, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But as far as those little tiny moments, realistically, I don't see myself stopping at all.
Good.
It's all I wanted. If nothing ever comes of it, as far as something bigger, that would be nice. But I honestly don't care. I mean, I do care a little bit, because that would be awesome. But right now, I'm just about the music, because it's helping myself. Exactly. And there's other people out there. So that's definitely the main focus, is the big picture.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And I think that's what I know me and Mel love about that, is the fact that you're doing something you love, and you're doing something that makes you feel good and you enjoy it, and that can only lead to great success. And with your talent, Tim, I'm sure definitely the sky's the limit for you. We know it.
Thank you.
Every time we listen to a tune of yours, we're like, we're so excited. Really.
Thank you so much. Yeah, because, you know, and with that, it's, if you don't keep it a passion, you know, even at whatever level somebody might be on, it doesn't matter if it's a passion, because you know, like we all know, to be a paramedic or a police officer, that's got to be a passion, because maybe in the bigger city, but in a lot of places, the pay isn't, I wouldn't say this, you know, this greatest, you know, thing. Yeah. And it's all about the passion. And it's funny, because we get those big celebrities that tell everybody, you know, these people that are already making millions, you know, if you just follow your dream, you could be like me. It's not. If it was that easy, we'd all be millionaires. You know?
Exactly.
Whatever. That stuff irritates me sometimes. It's like, no, I like seeing other people just doing their thing because it's passion, and that's their motivation and love, not that whole $1 million, you know, thing they haven't even done for a while. They're like, just look at me, you know.
They forget that gap of that hard work and commitment and keeping going between that. It just seems like it's an instant transition.
About that.
Yeah, just instantly rich. Yeah.
Like, okay, where was I in the queue? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's like why we do this show, is because we meet people that are real, you know, like yourself, who are doing what they love, and who are looking to share that with everyone. And that's, I'd say that's some of our best interviews, is when people are real and it's just showing that passion.
Definitely.
So right,
that speaks louder than, you know,
definitely
the big mansion and stuff.
Exactly. And also passion lives, you know, it lives a lifetime more. It's more than that, it exceeds a lifetime. Right. But you know, money will only get you so far, but you need to have that will and that love
and that passion to get it.
Right, because I can understand some passions, you know, if you're 72 years old, it's not that easy to go do your passion of snowboarding anymore, you know. Not saying there's not guys out there that aren't doing it though, because if they love it that much and they're in great shape, I'm sure they still are, you know. But that's why I don't see myself. There's no reason to ever stop, you know. I mean, we say that now until I get like really bad carpal tunnel, but I will find a way.
There'll always be a way. And
there's always a way.
And in the world that we're living today, there will definitely be a way.
Definitely.
Happen. So
right. Robot arms, whatever it takes, I'll keep going.
So you've just released a cover of the great Pat Benatar Invincible.
Yes, just today.
Yep. Just share with us, because me and Mel have listened to it. Brilliant. Like, I love the original. So yeah, it was just like, wow. You just kept that
amazingness
the amazingness of the actual original song. You kept it and you just brought it to life again. So just tell us why Invincible and just about
how did that come about?
All from the start of that the movie The Legend of Billie Jean. Such good, you know, it's such a great movie, and you know, I've watched it so many times, you know, since the first time I saw it, you know, 30 years ago, you know. And I thought the song was just a great inspiration for just everything, and just always loved the song. And I just decided, okay, I'm going to do it. You know, screw it, I'm just going to do it. And I've been sitting on it for about 3 months because I kept listening, and I'm like, oh, you know, I just don't want to, oh, do I like it? You know, I'm not sure. I kept criticizing myself, and I'm like, because I mean, it's Pat Benatar, you know, I don't want to put a crappy one out there, you know, and just to put it out there, just to say, oh, well, yeah, I just did this. No, I sat on it for months. And finally, last week, my wife was like, it's good, just post it. You know, she's like, I love it. It's good, just post it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to post it, see how it goes. But I didn't want to, you know, some bands will take a song and they'll make it like way heavier and do, you know, add these screams and add whatever. That's one song that I did not want to do that to. I wanted to keep that, I wanted it to feel a little heavier, but I wanted to keep that awesome just vibe of the way, you know, she sings it.
Yeah.
And it's too good of a song for me to do it some other different way and screw up, you know, that song, you know. And so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it as wholesome as it was compared to that. And the vocals on the chorus, I'm keeping more kind of monotone going through that because I'm a guy, and I'll tell you what, when I'm trying to do the chorus to that, when I was singing it, I'm not going to share what it originally sounded like when I tried it, because it was so bad. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can't hit those pitches.
Range,
yeah. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the UK, we have a phrase saying you smashed it, which means you just did an amazing job with it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
And yeah, we can't wait for the viewers to definitely go onto Spotify and listen to it and all of your music. So, excellent stuff there.
And you know what's funny? We don't have the kind of crowd that we would need. But I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, you know what I really want to do is, and my wife's got a short haircut now, and we were sitting eating dinner, and I was like, you know, if I did a video, would you play Billie Jean? And she was like, no. But I was thinking at first, you know, it's probably not going to happen, but I wanted to replicate kind of like the video from that, you know, back in the 80s or 90s when the actual video came out, you know, and I thought that would have been awesome. It's not going to happen, but that would have been fun.
You never know. You might be able to twist her arm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's really good. And again, congratulations on the release again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, is there any more? What else is in the pipeline for you in terms of music-wise?
I do have a song with another song that I haven't released because I'm kind of waiting on some artwork to go with it. But I had another guy from Twitter that I met that's a great solo guitarist. He jumped on the song with me and just did a solo. And then me and him are talking about, actually, I think we're going to do it today is we're going to video chat with each other and start working on a song between the both of us. He's a phenomenal guitarist. So I have that. I've probably got about 5 more songs that I haven't finished sitting on my laptop. It's not even close to Halloween, and I'm thinking about another video like I did with the My Own Grave one, where I got a collaboration of a bunch of people to, kind of submit their own videos. Some people submitted 4K videos, some people submitted kind of pixelated stuff off their phone. And I didn't care about that because the point was to get everybody involved and just make it fun.
Cool.
So definitely going to try to take it up a notch for this coming Halloween. So who knows what's to come. I'm already kind of getting the gears rolling in my head.
Brilliant. Love it. Love the way your mind is working there, Tim. That's excellent. So, I mean, this is your time to plug yourself now. Where can our viewers go to find out more about you and your upcoming projects?
So you can go to the Liminalist on Spotify. Okay. And I use DistroKid for distribution. So when they do songs, and I'm not going to be able to remember all of them, but right now, all the ones I've done and all the future ones will be on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Deezer. I haven't even used Deezer, so I don't know kind of the platform. TikTok, because it's available for those little clip videos if somebody wants to use a song. Twitch. There's like 50 different platforms, and I think they pretty much cover everything when they distribute my songs. So everything upcoming will be on the same thing. My YouTube also is just the Liminalist. I've got a few lyric videos in there. Some of the older songs I did with videos of my son, because the biggest thing is I wanted people to see him and show him the world. But I pretty much try to hit everything I can because I figure why not? And some of it doesn't cost that much money to use these other platforms. And I think it's a good way to go because using someone else to promote your stuff can get pretty expensive. Sometimes, not all the time. There's good people out there that will help. Like what you guys are doing is great promo stuff for the people that you guys talk to. But we've also all seen those people that have the ads on Instagram. They're like, oh, just pay me, $100 a month and I'll promote you. And you see people, if you really read some of the people's comments, they're like, yeah, I paid you $100. I ain't seen nothing yet.
Exactly. I know, I can get you 5 million followers in just like a week. You're like, really? And I think,
yeah. You know what's funny about that, and I hope I'm not veering off topic real quick. I'll kind of spit it out real quick, is me and my wife were talking the other day about these people that they'll have, the people that are buying followers. And when you look at their profile at first glance, you're like, wow, this person must be, I don't know what they're doing. It must be really awesome though. They've got 150,000 viewers. They follow 150,000 people. They have no comments on any of their posts. So you're like, oh, okay, you bought all those followers because how is...
Exactly. Or they've got like about 5 posts and you're like, how'd you get all those followers with like 5 posts? It just doesn't
I can't imagine how much they paid for those followers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tim, I mean, we could talk all day too, but we know obviously you've got a busy day ahead. And again, thank you so much for being our guest.
No problem. Thank you for having me, definitely.
No worries at all. Great. Keep doing what you're doing. And actually, I've just remembered I've missed one part of the important part of this interview, as if none of the rest was important. Free tip.
Let me see. Oh yeah, of course.
She forgot too. You see, look, we started going off topic.
We like to ask our guests to share free tips that they would share with those of our viewers who may be interested in making music, becoming a singer, what 3 tips would you share, especially for those that maybe are feeling quite doubtful and insecure in themselves?
Really, the only tip is that I wouldn't say the only one. I mean, there's a couple little ones, but just you just have to do your own thing and just hone your craft. Because a lot of people, sit on something and they don't want to further themselves, further learning of whatever they're doing. And I think in just about anything, there is a never ending learning. There's never a full mastery of something. I mean, you can talk to people that have done yoga for 20, 30 years and there's always more, I mean, and I think it's like that with just about anything. So definitely music, for everybody out there, is just don't stop and, just keep learning and keep pushing the limit of what you're doing.
Yeah, great.
Love it.
Thank you again, Jim. It's been a pleasure to have you on our show.
Yes, it's been fun. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more Rhyme Entertainment Showcase.